Welcome back to another episode of the Stack Supplement Podcast, where we run down all of the top stories and exciting announcements shared on our website from the past 7 days. And we're going to jump straight into it with just a roundup from the Protein Wars. Obviously, this is still, we're now in the grand final stage, the big grand final. It was a pretty intense semifinals. We had Panda, Rise, Ghost, who else was, Muscle Sport was also in there. And the two that progressed through were two that have met in the final before. Both of them have won as well, and that is Ghost and Ghost and Rise. I was going to say Ghost and Muscle Way. So both of those guys have progressed in the grand final. They have shown off before. And Ghost is our champion from 2019, and Rise is the champion for the last 3 years. So it's looking for its fourth consecutive title, and Ghost is looking for its second win in the competition. And may the best man win. To be honest, I always enjoy seeing how this comes out, how the two that we end up with. The semi-finalists were great, and the finalists are just as good, and we always end up with some great protein powders. We've never not, and it's just cool to see that it's brands like Rise and Ghost both killing it with great flavors, reliable formulas, quality ingredients, fantastic authentic collaborations, and then even got Ghost over there doing one of the few supplements on the market in that saturated protein powder category that does things transparently. And for those not up on it or unsure of what that means, basically it is a transparent protein is when, let's say you have a blend of whey isolate and whey concentrate, and you get 25 grams of protein per serving. You may not necessarily know it might be a sprinkling of whey isolate and mostly concentrate. Now, yes, if the ingredients are around the other way, it almost guarantees it's a good amount of isolate, but it still might be 50-50. You might think you have a lot of isolate, who knows? But at least when you have a fully transparent supplement, that kind of solves the problem. And that's where they'll say, like, hey, of the 25 grams of protein, 20 grams isolate, 5 grams is concentrate. Or in the Jim Stoppani's Pro Gym case, they have the egg and the casein as well. So they have a variety of sources, and they all tell you. So it's not that common, but Ghost is one of the few that does it, and they're in the grand final. So, excuse me, kudos, and looking forward to seeing either of them come out on top. And basically, we're not going to have a brand new winner as it is. We are going to have a past champion take another title, no matter which way it goes. We're going to jump straight into the news this week, and we're going to start off with details out of Integral Medica's more hardcore brand. And I will note in the area of Brazil, that this is a very different market. Every country around the world has its own little rules and regulations where you just can't use certain ingredients. Like Europe, you can't use agmatine. Australia has a lot that you cannot use. Asia again. Every part has its own little thing. America is pretty broad, pretty great when it comes to ingredients and what you can and cannot use, at least compared to other places. And they do a great job at just pushing the boundary. Now, Brazil is a whole different animal. They can only use certain ingredients, and they can also only use certain dosages sometimes. And it's a very interesting place to compete in and see the brands that are down there. And so when you look at someone from Brazil, say it's a pre-workout that does this XYZ, and you're thinking, well, that's shit, keep in mind, and I think I haven't even always thought about this, but keep in mind that's all they can use. It's not what they know of. That's not what they can produce. That's not any other restriction other than what they're allowed to use. They can very much see everything that happens around the world. Thanks to Stack, you get to see that. But yeah, it's they're aware of this. And so Darkness is the hardcore side to Integral Medica, and they've come out with a new version, or a special edition version, of their pre-workout Evora. Now, Evora, the original, has 200 milligrams of caffeine, 1.2 taurine, and 2 grams of beta-alanine. So like I said, very straightforward. And to be honest, Darkness is Integral Medica's more hardcore company. So this is very much, I guess, what you might call a more upper level brand. Now they've come out with Evora XT, and it's very much the same as Evora, hence the name. And I do like that what they've done here. It's pretty cool to see that they could have gone this route but didn't. So basically Evora XT is Evora with twice the caffeine. So the beta-alanine remains at 2 grams, the taurine is 1.2, and then the caffeine is 400. And I do like that they didn't double everything. Whenever I see it, even if the brand has done different flavors or whatever, every time I see someone do like like it's half of this or it's double of this. I feel a bit cheated. I feel like they just produced a big batch of everything and then bottled 2 servings into this one serving into this one, half into this one, called it 3 different things. And that's not to knock that, but it's just, you kind of feel slighted a bit. But that's not what's happened here. Obviously, Darkness's Evora XT has the same same taurine, same beta alanine, but not the same caffeine. So it is inherently a different formula. And it's, in some cases, especially in that market where you don't have that many ingredients to choose from, you could consider this a vastly different supplement to Evora. So yeah, we got that one on the website, and it is a limited edition product, so it's not around for long. It is here for a good time, not a long time. Next up, we're going to jump over to the guys. This was a new brand that we featured, and I thought it was interesting, but do note it's expensive as hell, and it's not a knock on them. I get it, innovation, creativity, and you want to stand out, but it is pricey. So this company is called Sneaky Gains. I loved the name. I love the presentation. The branding is pretty damn cool. They have made a creatine. In fact, that's the only supplement they have on the market right now. The name is Sneaky Gains, and the one product they make is a standalone creatine. Now you may be wondering, why would someone come out with just a standalone creatine? Very straightforward, very easy to do, nothing too complex, and there is a mountain of them out there. There is a key, there is a catch here. As I said, this was something cool. So Sneaky Gains its creatine is somewhat flavored and somewhat unflavored. And I don't mean it has an unflavored option and a flavored version. So they have flavored their creatine in a sugar flavor. So the point behind this is that it tastes like sugar, but obviously we're talking about creatine, we're talking about supplements. This is meant to taste like sugar. This isn't sugar, so there's no sugar in there. It has a sugary taste, and I just loved that concept that like it's unflavored. So it has the versatility of unflavored, where you can mix it with practically anything. But instead of adding nothing, it adds a sweetness to it. So if you got it in your protein shake, it might be sweet chocolate. If you add it to your smoothie, even sweeter berries. I don't know. Like, it's got this nice versatility to it. However, I will point out, the formula itself is very much straightforward creatine. So that 30 servings at 5 grams a piece, so it's a 150 gram tub, I guess, in terms of active creatine. The price, however, this is where it's a bit tough. So during Black Friday, it was $35. That's during Black Friday. It is $49.99 on a regular basis, which is, as I said, pretty pricey in terms of standalone creatine. You can get multiples of that for far less. And so yeah, $37, $50 is pricey. I would still, to be honest, if I saw it, maybe in passing, I might just grab it just because I want to see how close to sugar it is. I would be drastically disappointed if it tasted nothing like sugar, especially since I just paid so much more than I would usually for creatine. But yeah, I got to give up to them. A pretty cool little innovation. Would have liked the price to be a little bit closer to the competition, because this is very, very way out there, like a 30 serving of creatine. Yeah, like those don't cost much typically. Some of the 60 serving, 90 servings, what's that, 500 gram, 250, 300 gram tubs, they usually still in the 20s, if I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I know, I'm just recalling off the top of my head here. Ecovision, I know, had a huge one in the 20s. So you can get some big value ones out there. But yeah, I just loved the concept on this one. So you can check it out for yourself and visit their website if you wanna give that one a little try and see how close to sugar it really is. From there, we're gonna jump over to, now I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this name right, but I'm just gonna say what it is. Tonificare, I think. Tonificare. If you know the brand, you know what I'm talking about. So they were around for quite a bit, extensive amount of time, but they kind of burst onto the scene, got quite known with great branding, great formulas, had a lot of key categories, making a lot of noise, and then it kind of went silent. In fact, very silent. And then a few months ago, we got a look at a preview. Now, that was kind of explain the silence. We were kind of like, cool, this is great, it's coming back, looking forward to it. Fast forward to now, they have revealed that they are not doing that rebrand. They are changing their look, but they're also changing their name. Tonificare is now going to be called as, you can pronounce this a couple ways, I guess. I'm going to call them Omi. It could be Omi, could be Omai. I don't. I'm just going to say Omi. Could be wrong. Army. Maybe we'll say Army. whatever it may be. I'll wait till I hear it and see if I'm correct. But Army is basically Tonific here. It's a whole new brand. It's replacing that original, and they're going to start out with a supplement called Holy Energy. And we actually previewed the formula behind that. I believe they're launching this week. Pretty sure they're launching tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Wednesday. And yeah, we got a breakdown of the formula. And I tell you what, they did some pretty good formulas under Tonific here. And Army kind of seems like it's going to be continuing that. Now, the catch here is that their new pre-workout Holy Energy is going to be $29.99 at launch. It'll be a launch deal, but regular will be $34.99. Now, that's for a tub of 20 servings. But in that price point, you might be thinking this is going to be some average 5-ingredient, whatever it is. They've done a pretty damn good job. And hats off to them for squeezing this much in here. So for this, I guess you could say, cost-effective pre-workout and the return of Tonific here as Army. You've got 8 grams of citrulline malate, 3.2 beta-alanine, glycerol's in there as well for pumps at 2 grams, 2.5 betaine, taurine and tyrosine. Tyrosine's at 2 grams. Alpha-GPC is at a solid 600. Theobromine, pink Himalayan salt. N-acetyl-carnitine's in there as well for even more focus. Juniper berry, synephrine, potent alpha-yohimbine at 2.5 milligrams, and then you got a combined caffeine count that falls just under 400. Again, that's, to be honest, if you rattled that off, I might think it's at the high 30s, but this is mid 30s, discounted to under 30, and it's going to be a damn good return for Tonific here / Army, as it's now going to be known. That launches this week, as I said. I'm not sure if it's the only supplement they're launching with. When it was Tonific here, they had quite a few. They had actually quite a few competitors in the same category, so I look forward to seeing how this evolves and how they move from here. You can check out that supplement on the site as per usual, and as with anything else we say on here. We're now going to shoot over to, I think we're going to jump over to Apollo's shiny new toy, and that is the special edition flavor it announced last week, which I thought was pretty cool. They had 2. One of them was salty peanuts. I actually mentioned this to Robert. I said I feel like you missed the opportunity called salty nuts, or just play into that a little bit. But I guess that might have been a bit too less serious, because the flavor they announced the day after, is probably the one that got way more attention. And it is, I'm not going to even begin to pronounce the snack it's inspired by. But yeah, they've made a Hanukkah edition flavor of protein powder for their Isoblast. Their premium isolate-based protein powder Isoblast is getting a Hanukkah flavor for Hanukkah, inspired by, however you want to say it, called Raspberry Donut. This is inspired by the traditional Hanukkah treat of this. I would say same name, but that's what it is. There's a name for it, and we listed off on the site. But I mean, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that. You can go and type in Apollo and Raspberry Donut, and you can read it yourself. But to be honest, that name's not even on in English. It's not on the tub. It is called Raspberry Donut because that's what it is. It's meant to taste like a powdered sugar donut with a raspberry filling, but in the form of a protein powder with all of the same great macros we know of with Isoblast, as well as most isolate protein powders out there. Both, I believe the salty peanuts, I don't know if that one's a limited flavor. This one obviously is the Hanukkah one, similar to the event, only here for a limited time. And so yeah, make sure you believe those have launched now. I think they launched last Friday, so they should be live and available through the Apollo website as well as at retailers shortly. The next story we've got 3 to close out with. This one is a fun one. This one it is what it is. So Doug Miller sent me a preview on his screen of the new Liberty Balls. Now, Liberty Balls is Miracle Labs testosterone booster that was introduced way back. And I think last week we mentioned the Stars and Pipes, the revamp, and how they've moved to that great, cool, heavy illustration design. And they kind of went back to that original formula of just bulk, reliable dosages, reliable ingredients at bulk dosages. And now they're bringing back Liberty Balls, which I believe will be similar concept, very similar to what we had way back. We had common testosterone boosting ingredients at fat dosages. Liberty Balls is coming back. It's going to be the next one after Stars and Pipes. And the catch with this one, though, wasn't so much the ingredients, because they didn't tell us what's going to be in it. They just said it was going to be the resurrection of Liberty Balls. It is going to have testosterone boosting ingredients like the original, but the label on the front was just, it was on point as Sleepy Joe, their nighttime product that they put out. So on the front of Liberty Balls, is Bill Clinton, and I will apologize because there was a version of on our website of this story that went out, and it was some of the ones said Bill Clinton, some of them were just, I don't know why it changed to Bill Gates, so I apologize for that. Either way, Bill Clinton's on the front of this one, jacked to shit. Shirts torn, holding some weapons, not his arms, some actual weapons, and his arms were jacked. And then on his torn shirt, underneath it, he had a tattoo of Hillary Clinton. But alongside him on the front of the bottle was Monica Lewinsky. The obviously infamous situation there. And yeah, I knew there's only one brand that can be Miracle Labs and I'm glad to see them playing back into this, because for a while we lost a bit of that character, a little bit of that sass, a little bit of that fun. Now they're back at it, so that's great to see, very great to see. So yeah, we'll have the formula on Liberty Balls shortly, but for now, feel free to shoot over to the website and just check out the immaculate design that they have put together for this one. It's another creative piece of artwork, genuinely great one from the team. The next story we've got, one of the last two, is from the famous podcaster Alex Cooper, who is obviously quite an individual herself, quite a popular, well-known person. And she has announced that she is coming out with a hydration drink called Unwell Hydration, under the brand Unwell, obviously. Now, it's got a lot of noise, and I like how she did it. I like how she kind of got everyone's attention. Firstly, when you're someone as popular as her, as famous as her, very similar to like Logan Paul, when he announced Prime, instantly the brand got a multitude of followers. And then when they did the whole Feastables, trying to remember what their Lunchly, that one also instantly got a lot of followers, and that just tends to be the case when you have influencers and brands and stuff like that. And so this one got a lot of attention, obviously, due to her being as famous as she is. But we don't know too much about the drink right now. Now, there were a few things said, and I'm always, as I've mentioned many times before, I'm always willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. So basically, she's coming out with a hydration drink. It's called Unwell Hydration. Now, she pointed out in the video that she announced, she kind of said all the sports drinks, hydration drinks are made for men. And then she goes on to say, like, she didn't really specify too much or like point to anyone, but she had a bunch in front of her and she said, it tastes like shit. It's got too much sugar. So obviously she's not painting the entire category like that, because some of them have none. And some of them, I mean, not all of them. I would think there are some that taste like shit, but I'd like to think majority taste pretty good. So yeah, she kind of put out these big, bold claims. And a lot of times when someone says, I'm coming out with a pre-workout, oh my God, that one tastes like shit, lead you to think that theirs is going to taste better than that, or at the very least, just one of the best. And so those things are kind of what we feel like they might be leading into with Unwell Hydration, saying that there's going to be either low or no sugar, that it's going to taste great, which obviously is the counteractive. If you have less sugar, that does make it harder, but it's not impossible, as we've seen with countless health and nutrition companies out there. Now, what we know of the ingredients, I guess the things that are going to matter the most, is that it has a variety of B vitamins. It's going to have some electrolytes. We don't know how many. I think that's a big point. Obviously, when you're putting yourself in the bottled version, the beverage segment, it's difficult to put in as much as you could in a powder. They didn't really mention, say like, oh, these ingredients, no one ever said, oh, these formulas suck. They don't put enough in. So let's immediately believe this might be quite of a mainstream approach to the formula, like I guess 600, 700 combined electrolytes. I'm not entirely sure. But the other interesting thing that she said, or not that she said, but the bottle says in the few details we have, is that Unwell Hydration is going to be caffeinated. And I was very surprised about that, because as much as you can say, there are some that are too high in sugar, and there's some that taste like shit, and there most definitely are. I don't know of a sports drink I know that I've faintly heard of a couple, but none where that's the only option, right? Like that's the only version of their drink that they have, the caffeinated one. But Unwell Hydration is going to be gently caffeinated, and is going to, they don't say how much, but they did say less than a cup of coffee, which is usually when someone says something less than, it's close by, right? So if I have a gram of sugar and the candy that I base this on has 50 grams, I'm not going to say it has less sugar than this. I'm probably going to throw like a big number, like 99% less, right? when you say less than this, you immediately assume it's relatively close, right? So I would think that if this is gently caffeinated, so enough that you would feel it, and I would think that it's less than a cup of coffee, I'm thinking it's probably going to be 60, 70, because a cup of coffee traditionally has around 80, so was it 80, 90, whatever it is. So a Red Bull technically has less caffeine than a cup of coffee, like the classic 8 ounce, not the full 12 or 16s. Do they have a 16? No, they have a 12. So yeah, so it's an interesting statement. We'll have more details. I'm going to be looking around for more information. The product itself launches in the new year. So we don't have a lot right now, but we have a good idea. So yeah, hydration drink, presumably great tasting, presumably without sugar. It's going to have some caffeine in it, which again, I think is an interesting twist. Could almost class it as an energy drink. If it's got 80, you could say it's an energy drink with electrolytes. You could call it a hydration energy drink. So yeah, check out the pictures on the site. We have a little bit of information on there, but we will be trying to get more shortly. And then we move to the last story, the very last story, one of the most exciting ones, and I kind of said that this was going to be the case, is 3D Energy had a bit more to share following the announcement of the various flavors it's working on. In previous episode, we did talk about the flavors that Christian Guzman and 3D Energy have been working on. There were 4 that they were talking about: Tropical Splash, Candy Green Apple, Limeade, and Pink Sunrise. So they've got a lot in store. These are the flavors that they're working on. Now they've come out, gone a step further, and confirmed that they are moving to 0 artificial colors for their beverage in 2025. Now, additionally, maybe I won't say that right now. I had heard this from them, but I don't know if it's something I should share. They are really, really retooling the drink. By the sound of things, it's going to be like a very big transformation. I don't know if the look is going to shift. I kind of like that simplistic 3D Energy look. Christian Guzman is still obviously on board and getting involved. As far as I know, they're going to be at the Arnold alongside another brand. So it'll be sort of like a joint booth. And I imagine they're going to be having this refreshed, retooled version of the 3D Energy drink on display, available to try maybe. And it's going to involve, so no artificial colors, which makes sense, to be honest. When you have an opaque can, it never really made sense to me as to why you would put colors in there. I do get it, but like if, why not? Why not just leave it out? And they also confirmed that they're going to be coming back into GNC. Now, they said, Christian Guzman himself said that they're going to be getting back into GNC. I don't know if this is like a sure thing. If he's like, oh, we're definitely getting back in without talking to them. It wasn't overly clear. He might have just said it like, oh yeah, we're getting back there. Because they were in GNC at some point. They had an incredible specialty distribution back in the day. They've now moved into other places. I believe you can find them heavily at Dollar General. So it's going to be good to see them back in those places, back in the big spots, especially GNC, with what sounds like a very, very big difference or revamp for the drink. The only thing I can hope, and this happens a lot, is that they don't change the taste, the way it tastes, the way it flavors, because my word, I have had so many energy drinks where people will say, like, we're not going to change the inside, right? We're not going to change the flavor. We know you love the taste. And then they'll say something like, oh, we made it better. And it tastes like shit. Well, not like shit, but shit in comparison. Like, it just disappoints you. You're like, why would you tell me it's the same if it's not? Why would you tell me if it's better if it's a different strategy, right? If it's a different way to achieve this certain flavor, that's not going to come off the same as you did. So if you like that specific route, you might inherently just not like this at all. So that has happened a lot over the years. A lot of energy drinks that have changed strategy in places and even refreshed or rebranded. I'm just hoping that hasn't happened here. 3D Energy is still my second favorite energy drink in the world. I will grab that 9 times out of 10 just because I don't see it that often. So even if it was next to Monster Ultra, I'd probably grab it just because I don't see it that often. And so I make sure I grab when I can. So yeah, big things coming. Again, the artificial twist, new flavors. By the sounds of things, a potential refresh and look, and I won't go on from there, but it's all a minute. Again, just fingers crossed the flavor profiles have stayed the same. You can check out all of the stories we mentioned down here on the website at stack.com, stack3d.com. I should also mention we are working on a VIP program coming soon. This is separate from rewards. We'll have more details. I thought I'd throw this in here just because it is in the 10% underway, but there'll be a nice little thing coming out, so keep an eye out for that. Should be next couple months, hopefully, maybe even before the Arnold. But yeah, for this, make sure you sign up to the rewards program if you haven't already. But for this episode, that is it. Make sure you share this with your mom, dad, brother, sister, friends, and family. Be sure to visit the site every single goddamn second you can. Morning, lunchtime, night, while you're sleeping, I don't know. That's all we ask for. The support is just to keep yourself informed. Stay away, stay away, stay alert, and stay in update with all of the new products that come out in supplements, functional foods, and energy drinks. And that's it. Thank you for listening. Look forward to having you back next time.